Niner fans, as you know, today was the NFL trade deadline. We were all refreshing our phones. We were at the edge of our seat waiting to see if the 49ers would make a move. John Lynch, he has really good history of making trade deadline moves. Like, every year he seems to make a move. They go Randy Gregory, Christian McCaffrey, Chase Young, Emmanuel Sanders, et cetera, et cetera. John Lynch is, Mr. Due Diligence. He'll be on the phone if they absolutely need to upgrade the roster or get a name. They've done it. Today, there was a lot of rumors out there, right, throughout the weeks. DeForest Buckner, Kendrick Bourne, Jadeveon Clowney, et cetera, et cetera. The Niners didn't go for a huge name, but instead, right at the last minute, John Lynch, buzzer beater, goes and they trade for the defensive tackle from the Houston Texans, Khalil Davis. They get him for a 2026 seventh round pick. Literally was about to tweet that the 49ers didn't make any trades. I think I tweeted it out, but I had to delete it because right when I sent that tweet, boom, breaking news, 49ers are trading for Khalil Davis. Now, it's not the big, name, the big acquisition, the big sexy name. Oh my God, blockbuster trade, but it's a depth piece with Chris Kasurik. He could probably turn anybody that's a talented D lineman or a D lineman in general into somebody productive. We've seen it so many times in the past. Arden Key and, Charles Omenihu, et cetera, et cetera. Chris Kasurik has a good track record. So it's not the big name, but it's a solid piece because we know the history with the 49ers and defensive linemen. They needed some depth. Again, it wasn't the big name, but solid move for a seventh round pick. You really can't go wrong. It's a bargain move. And if it turns into a solid player, then pat yourself on the back, John Lynch. You got yourself a dub. So I didn't hate the move. Again, it was a low risk. It could be a high reward type move. You needed depth. So that's what the 49ers ended up doing. Now, in order to make room for him, they had to waive a player, and they waived linebacker Jalen Graham. To me, this was a little questionable. This was a little controversial to me, I guess, because Devondre Campbell, the veteran linebacker, is a guy that really hasn't played good. The 49ers are keeping him. They're insisting on keeping him until, Dre Greenlaw comes back. I like Jalen Graham. He's shown flashes. He's young, but I guess the 49ers don't like him. And again, they waived him in order to make room for Khalil Davis. I don't know. I thought that was a head scratcher, but the 49ers are really set on keeping Devondre Campbell, the veteran, present. So that to me was the L of the trade deadline, in my opinion. I mean, why move Jalen Graham? He's a young player. I think he has talent. But again, what do I know? In another player that got released from the team was kicker Anders Carlson, who released him from the practice squad. Now, this was a little surprising because Jake Moody's been dealing with injury, but he did return to practice on Monday. So it tells me that, hey, if Anders Carlson is being released from the team, Jake Moody's probably playing Sunday. So that's what this one told me. All signs are looking to Moody returning. John Lynch said it last week on KMBR that he expects him to return against the Bucs. He returned to practice Monday. As long as there's no setbacks this week, it looks like he's playing on Sunday. So Anders Carlson, he did his job. He served his purpose while he was here. And unfortunately for him, he's, released from the practice squad. And Jake Moody is probably going to be your starter, which he was the starter. So he gets his job back moving forward. Another guy going forward here that was brought to the team was a former 49er, Tashaun Gipson, the veteran safety. He was on the Jaguars. He was suspended for PEDs early in the season, but the 49ers, they had an opportunity. He was released from the Jaguars yesterday, and boom, they brought him back to the squad. He's on the practice squad, but, they could probably elevate him if they need to. He doesn't need to learn the roster or the playbook. Tashaun Gipson has been a solid starter for the 49ers over the last couple of years. So I love this one. Tashaun Gipson coming back on the squad. To me, that was a hype move. I was very happy. I didn't expect it. But, I did see in the news yesterday that the Jaguars had released him. So I was kind of like, well, maybe they'll go bring him in. And 49ers definitely need some safety depth with Hufanga battling the wrist injury. We don't know if he's going to be coming back or not. He's going to try. But Tashaun Gipson, solid. He's been a veteran leader for the 49ers locker room. I'm happy that he's back. Yeah. So that was one of the bigger moves of the day for, around the league and the Niners in general, right? You release your kicker, you're getting back Jake Moody, and then boom, the big news, you bring back your veteran safety, Tashaun Gipson. I personally really like this move. So those were the bigger updates of the day. So Khalil Davis brought into the defensive line. You get him for a seventh round pick. Boom, you release Anders Carlson, your kicker. Looks like Jake Moody's back. And then boom, right onto the practice squad, you bring former safety that you had on your team, Tashaun Gipson. I think that was a dub right there. To me, that was the big dub of the day. And then again, the 49ers did release Jalen Graham. So you win some, you lose some. I think overall they are banking on the returns of guys like Christian McCaffrey, Dre Greenlaw, Jawan Jennings, all those guys to return, and Yetur Gross-Matos. They did mention he's coming back soon, so I think that's why they didn't go heavily over some of these other defensive linemen that were rumored, because I think they really want to see what they have in Yetur Gross-Matos. They brought him in this offseason, and they really haven't been able to see what he could do because he's been injured all year. So I think that's what the 49ers are looking towards, is really making sure they get all these guys back again. Christian McCaffrey, Juwan Jennings, Dre Greenlaw, Yetur Gross-Matos. So all those guys are coming back. It's kind of like they didn't need to make a trade because they're getting players back anyway. So I think that's kind of where John Lynch's head was at. You brought in a little bit of depth. You brought in a veteran safety that is great on your team in the past. So overall, I'd say it's like a B, B minus. I wasn't like overly excited that they got, a depth piece. But again, this depth piece, Khalil Davis, could actually turn out to be someone that's productive for the roster. So they didn't really give up much. And also, you got to remember, Christian McCaffrey is returning. He went back to practice yesterday. And I think that's the big move of the trade deadline is they're getting back Christian McCaffrey, a healthy Christian McCaffrey, hopefully. So that's my thoughts. Leave your guys' thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about the 49ers trade deadline, the moves or the lack of moves for that matter. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. That's it. That's the news. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.